All right, welcome to another episode of Horror, Heroes, and Hops. I think you know everybody on the panel already, except for maybe one person.
I'm Chris. How are you doing? I bartend at Salud's.
Awesome, thank you very much. Yes, today we are located again at Salud, St. Robert, Missouri. They have a Facebook page, go check them out. Thank you very much for Chris being here and Adam letting us film today. And what do we got on the list? What are we talking about?
Well, when we left off on our last episode, we were going to be going to ExtremeCon in the middle of June, and we spent a couple days here, there. It was a pretty cool experience for the first time ever doing it. Met some cool people. You know, Zach, who and what did you enjoy the most about?
I enjoyed the wrestlers. Their segment was great. Their interview was awesome. It was hilarious. It was funny. I mean, their personalities were great. Jessica Cameron and Heather Dorff, they were pretty cool. They were very laid back people. The whole wrestling thing with them having the debate over the winner and fighting their way into the skating rink was great. I love that. That was my favorite parts of it, for sure. A lot of good vendors there, a lot of good people. Everybody was really, really laid back and friendly.
My favorite portion, I'd probably say the wrestlers again, and the cosplay costume contest, which I totally think I should have won, but I was one of the people that the wrestlers got to fight over. I was Poison Ivy. It was awesome, but one of the girls from my roller derby team, she took first place as Hulkstress or She-Hulk, and I think that was just tons of fun in the way they planned it all, and it was great. And yeah, I think everything there, everybody there was just super friendly, very family oriented, but still, you know, a little adult during times. So we got to have our fun when we wanted to. Yes, the actresses that Jason helped bring in, wonderful job by Jason and Gary. So thank you very much, and Brian from the Retroplex. How about you, Jason?
Well, the wrestlers, so you guys know specifically, they were from Central States Wrestling. And the wrestlers were Jay Howard, which is the NWA Missouri heavyweight champion, and the other guy was J.A. Fair. Look them up, they're pretty cool. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite things that happened. The drink and draw here at Salud was pretty fun the night before the con. David Fott did a lot of drawings for people. He didn't even get to drink as much as he drew, I don't think. But he tried. He was drawing. He was banging them out. He was a really cool dude. And again, Jessica and Heather coming out was pretty fun. Made the experience a lot more fun. And I think Gary did a really great job putting together everything, and he worked his butt off, you know, getting vendors to come and just trying to make sure everybody was happy. So, you know, ExtremeCon next year, I don't know exact dates, but he's going to be doing it again. I don't know if it's going to be at the Retroplex yet or what's going to happen with that. But me and Gary have also got planned in September, at the end of September 29th, we're going to be doing a horror con, sort of Halloween type con festival called Midnight Horror Fest, Hollow Fest, sorry. My own event, don't know the name. Midnight Hollow Fest, where we're going to have a survival horror camp out weekend, and we're going to have a bunch of other cool stuff going on. Belly dancing by Liz. I'm believing Comic Quarters is going to probably set up a vendor spot there. So come check us out September 29th. It's only $5 to get in for each day, and it's $35 to do the survival camp out for the weekend, or $20 a night. Either way you want to go. Pretty cheap, pretty cool, a lot of fun. And it'll be held at the Shrine Club in Lakeway, or is it considered Waynesville?
I think it's technically Lakeway or Buckhorn.
Buckhorn, Lakeway, yeah. Buckhorn. We'll give you more details the closer we get to it. And you can go and check out ExtremeCon.com. There are already tickets available. You can pre-purchase your tickets for any of the camp out and any of the daily joining in the festival or whatever. Anyway, and also for Horror Heroes and Hops, we are doing a Patreon, which we've been trying to push. You know, we're relatively new. Just go check out our site on Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/horror heroes and ops. And you know, if you sign up to be a member for $5 a month, there'll be some perks that you'll be able to get. You know, discounts on different comic books off the Comic Quarters website. We'll be throwing in T-shirts every once in a while. $10 purchase gives you a lot more merchandise. We'll be giving out every 6 months. We'll be doing a little like a crate kind of thing, put together some stuff for the people that are doing $10. Just for thank you for supporting us. And things will get more and more progressively better as we have more members, obviously. So first off, what are we doing today? I think we're going to talk about the most fucked up, twisted horror films that we've seen ever. Preferably, let's stay on different types of topics this time around when we talk about it. So we'll start off with Chris.
Oh man, different one. Let me see.
Shit.
Most
I know, right? I
fucked
think,
up
because-
horror film you've ever seen.
You know, stick with a classic, Motel Hell.
Oh, now
in the
Motel
day.
Hell. Ooh,
Back in
okay.
the day, that was a real good one. You know, it's supposed to be based off a true story, and who would actually think that someone would actually do that and serve people human flesh?
What was it about?
Oh, it's about a small town, I believe in Texas, I'm not sure, but
It's always Texas.
yeah. But this family had a little restaurant, and they would kidnap people and bury them and just leave certain parts out and cut off their heads and hands and serve them up, grind them, and serve it to the customers.
The real question is, how do you like your steak done?
Yeah, right?
Very well now that I see that.
Okay.
Listen.
Me, oh, shit. Okay. Damn it. Now it's escaping me. There's a film a film that I really like, and I forget the name of it, and it's got, okay, so let's go on a journey together. It's the guy, the main actor is one of the guys from Twilight. I don't like Twilight, I don't support Twilight. Jackson Rathbone. He's a really good actor, he's also in a great band. But he did a little known horror film, and it's like him and his buddies, like, they're film students, and his buddy wants to make a film about pretty much the most fucked up experience they've had, or this, that, and the other. They end up interviewing multiple people, and people are like, oh, I got bit by a dog, or oh, a bee stung me, or like, stupid shit. Comes down to it, one of the girls is, she's a vegetarian, because she kind of had something happen where she kind of ate something that she didn't really like. I'm not going to give it all away. It turns out to be really nasty because they kind of turn their own fears against each other. And I can't fucking remember it. I'll comment below, or we'll put it down below.
If you know what she's talking about,
Yeah.
comment below. Tell her what the hell it's about. Or who it is.
Well, I can't talk about the one I had in mind, so.
You can talk about that one. I was saying, last time we were discussing this kind of thing, it kind of went down that trail of the same exact topic.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. Sorry. Cannibal Holocaust.
Ah,
That's my top one. I'll leave the other one alone because Jason doesn't like it. Cannibal Holocaust. It's like the first found footage horror film. It kind of made that genre. Look into the urban legends behind it and kind of the story behind it. It's super interesting. Not only the film, but the entire presence it has around it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've talked about in past discussions about how found footage, typically the younger generation, much younger, around my age and younger, probably think the Blair Witch Project was like the found footage film. It's the one that started, it was the one that started the mainstream type found footage film.
Revamped, yeah.
Where the true story, where people really did this and this really happened to people, only to find out it wasn't really true. I think everybody that watched it for the first time when it first came out thought that. So Cannibal Holocaust is actually something you should check out. If you watch The Green Inferno, this is way more gruesome.
Yes.
And you want to watch something fucked up, watch that movie. Zach.
What about Chernobyl?
Ooh.
Nobody ever says anything about Chernobyl.
I remember that. I remember that one.
What about that? Nobody ever talks about that.
I really think
All the
they could've
radiation
done
people
more.
that were actually like a community still living there.
Yeah,
That movie was pretty jacked up if you think about it.
and like the government keeping it under wraps.
Yeah, you want to talk about nobody talking about victims.
Right.
True.
Right.
Talk about Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl. Yeah, that when they found footage kind of ish.
Some of it.
yeah.
Yeah, there was some of it that kind of was. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, see, and that's the kind of shit I'm talking about, like the realistic kind of this kind of happened thing. Granted, for all we know, it really is going on, and that really did happen. They're trying to play off it as a movie, but everybody's thought process, in my opinion, when you make a movie, and I feel deep down, a lot of times it derives from somewhere. The writer doesn't just go, "Hey, I'm gonna write a script from nothing." There is something that they have experienced, or they know, or they heard of, and they're writing about it, and they're incorporating it into their film. You know, and that's how a lot of these films, you know, some of these, like, obviously the ones that are like impossible, that can never happen, like Jason, can't be killed kind of guy, you know. If you're scared of slasher movies, then you really need to up your game, because that shit can't happen. Motherfucker ain't gonna come back 18 times after being electrocuted and burnt and hung and
Well, you think
stabbed.
about it. What were the borderlines of the radiation for Chernobyl?
Right, with Chernobyl.
They never talk about
Right.
Yeah.
like, okay, all these people died. Okay, granted, got it.
But the
What about
outside-
all the people that didn't die? All right, so last time we left off, we were talking about Planet War. Now we're gonna go into World War War. All right, so can't remember exactly where I left off.
You're at the moon where
Yeah, the planet erupted, right? So the Hulk's wife and his son was killed. Now he's like hell bent on revenge. The Hulk has never been madder. So now he loads up all his gladiator friends on a ship. They start heading to the moon because he's seeking revenge on the Illuminati, which is Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, Professor Xavier, Namor, which Namor basically said, "You're out of your fucking mind. If you're gonna do this to the Hulk, I'm not gonna be around when he gets back." So now, and Iron Man, let's not forget about him. That self-righteous asshole. So they get to the moon. He's actually after Black Bolt. Forgot about that. Black Bolt is also one of the Illuminati. Gets to the moon, hops off the ship, lands on the moon. Medusa, who's the translator for Black Bolt, because Black Bolt can't talk. He's one of the strongest beings in the universe, and his voice projects sound waves that can destroy pretty much anything. So the Hulk hops off the ship. It's basically like, "Black Bolt, your ass is mine." And Medusa's like, "Look, you fought Black Bolt before and lost. So why don't you just kick rocks?" And the Hulk's like, "No, I'm not going anywhere." And Medusa's like, "Last warning." And he's like, "I'm not leaving." So Medusa just turns around and says, "Good luck." So Black Bolt just whispers, "Stop." And all of a sudden, just shockwaves hit him. It tears his armor. He's bleeding out his nose. He's got blood coming out everywhere. And Black Bolt just turns around and starts to walk away like nothing ever happened. And of course, the Hulk gets up. And he's all tattered and beat up. And he's like, "I didn't come here to hear you whisper. I came here to hear you scream." So, cut to next scene. The Hulk ship is coming over New York City, and he's like, "Give up the Illuminati," which we already discussed who they are. And he's like, "Or this will happen to you." And he's holding up Black Bolt, and he's all bleeding and tethered and tore up. He said, "You got 24 hours to cough him up." Of course they don't. They're not going to give him up.
No.
So the Hulk comes down, and he starts picking these guys off one at a time. Like, rolls through the Fantastic Four, just plows through them, grabs Richards. Iron Man tries his hand. He's got the Hulkbuster armor. Wants to take on the Hulk. Shoots his adamantium spikes out. All types of stuff. Hulk's unfazed. Tears it. Just rips the armor open. Takes Tony Stark out. So he goes through these people systematically, one at a time. Captures them all. Puts them in a big arena in New York. Tells them they got to fight to the death. Well, as he's doing this, all of his other little gladiator buddies are wiping out all the other teams, like the Young Avengers, the other Avengers team. They're tearing these dudes up. They don't stand a chance. So, gets them all in the arena. The Hulk really doesn't want to kill anybody, but he wants them to pay. He wants them to feel pain. He wants them to feel anguish. So he starts pitting them against each other with the little obedience disc that he had when he was on Planet Hulk. So they're fighting each other whether they want to or not. And it just gets ugly. And it comes down to a point where somebody is about to kill somebody else. I don't want to ruin it. And the Hulk tells him to stop. He's like, that's it. That's enough. You know, they felt enough. Well, all of his gladiator buddies are like, no, they killed your wife. They killed your son. You need to kill them all. He's like, I'm not here to kill people. I'm here to make them feel pain, feel anguish. So, of course, that causes a rift between him and his guys. So then enter the Sentry, which is one of the most powerful beings in the universe. And the Hulk and the Sentry start going at it. And the Sentry's like, look, you know I'm the only one that's going to be able to stop you. So Iron Man actually shoots down a laser from space from one of his satellites and just blanks them both out. So next scene you see Sentry's laying there all busted up and the Hulk is back to Banner. So we'll continue on with that later on.
Good stopping point. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can go to Comic Quarters on Facebook. He has a few trades in for Planet Hulk and World War Hulk and all that.
And the Prelude.
In the Prelude. You can definitely pick it up. He ships. And if you want anything else, I mean, talk to him. If you got questions about comic books, go to Comic Quarters on Facebook and shoot Zach a message, man. He answers all those questions and he'll help you out if you want to find a book.
And all payments can be done through PayPal. And I'll factor in shipping, send it right to you.
And it'll be in really good condition. You know,
Yeah.
he don't deal with junk, so
Also super knowledgeable. So if you want to know what books to pick up now before their prices jump, or you know the way
Secret Empire.
the way the movies are going,
Wait,
he can
sounds
point you in the
right.
right direction and get you a fair price and get it graded for you. Signed copies, he does all that. Okay. Super awesome dude over here in the comic book section of things. And Comic Quarters located in St. Robert, Missouri, right off Fort Leonard Wood Post.
the Clayton Towers Plaza.
690 Missouri Avenue.
Yep.
Oh, and Facebook website, is the website up yet?
It's going live this week.
Okay, it's
Yes.
going live this week. And then Instagram. He is on Instagram, so you can see all the cool shit he gets in.
Hell, he's on Twitter too now.
Oh yeah,
And
Twitter.
Twitter. And Twitter, although
knew?
Twitter is more
Yeah, Twitter time.
Twitter's more for the updates.
All right.
But if you are on Twitter and you're under a rock somewhere and you don't have Facebook or Instagram, then either get with the program and get Facebook or Instagram, or shoot a message on Twitter. We'll get back with you on that too.
Right.
What other social media websites he may not have at this point. Comment below if you want to get him on other social media websites. Anything that we haven't thought of. But with that being said, moving forward, Liz does have a topic this episode of a show that is a book made into a TV
Yes,
series.
a book made into a TV series.
that
Yes.
she wants to talk about.
That I want to talk/rant about because I know I'll get into it. So there is a new show on Hulu called The Handmaid's Tale. And it was a book that was written in the 80s by Margaret Atwood. It's wonderful, so you need to go buy that first before checking out the TV show. Pretty much, it's in the same vein of Fahrenheit 451 and George Orwell's books and during this communist scare, but it's written from a woman's perspective. And it's kind of like what happens when the government kind of comes under a coup and things start happening very slowly, and it's very parallel to today's society because, oh, something happened, but you know what, it's not going to bother me, doesn't affect me, so I'm going to carry on with my everyday life. Keeps happening, and then all of a sudden, women cannot have jobs, women cannot own property, they cannot have their own money, and then pretty much in a very short time span, and in the book it's laid out very well, because a lot of people with this whole conspiracy theory bullshit are like, how can this fucking happen? This book will tell you exactly how it fucking happens. Literally, they come into a puritanical society where women who are able to birth children are pretty much enslaved, given to high-ranking members of the military, and literally have to lay on their back until they get pregnant. Or you're shipped to the colonies where you die. So those are your choices as a woman. But very interesting read. There's been a whole bunch of discussion online about the TV series. The TV series I have not watched yet, but I've heard really good things. It's doing very well, and it's actually a lot grittier and more adult than the book is. But you know, we're 20 years later, and the way we see things and watch things on the Netflix, the Hulu, and the HBOs and all those, you know. So yeah, check it out. It's so awesome.
Yeah, but at the same line of things, everybody thinks, and which to me that's interesting how people are like, oh, that can never happen. You could literally go to sleep one night and wake up and everything be different, because all it takes is one thing to happen. The government wants it to happen, it's gonna happen. And the military gets involved and all that, it's gonna happen. You know.
Well, and the way that we run our day-to-day lives with cell phones and credit cards, and everything's online, everything's mobile. As soon as like your phone network goes down for a fucking day, people lose their goddamn minds. Like, I know when Cable America goes out for like a fucking afternoon, I'm like, oh god damn it, what am I gonna do? Oh no.
Right.
Think about, yeah, Mason over there, yes. Think about everything is gone in a split second.
I mean, all it
Such a
takes
good
is
woman.
once the internet's down and you can't, and the phones go down and you can't communicate as fast as you once used to be able to communicate with people, and you got used to communicating with people. I mean, that's why the last 20 years, you do one thing, especially anybody of relative importance, even those that aren't important. They get you on a video, and then next thing you know, millions of people already know you did it.
And your lives ruined.
Once the government, if the government or another country wanted to decide they wanted to take over control or try to attack us, if they took out our communications, we're already at a disadvantage because all the damn people in this world that rely on it. I mean, I'm sure our government, even the older people that you would think wouldn't be, they're so reliant on their cell phones and communicating that it's like...
I mean, our president is currently on Twitter.
Right, all the damn time.
All the time.
Donald, what would
my
you
God.
do if damn Twitter went out, man? You wouldn't be able to communicate with your people. Well, you would by stupid videos and making stupid comments, but other than that, what would you do?
We try not to get into politics here.
Yeah,
I was very
My bad.
tame and
if you
like,
like Donald Trump, it's cool. If you like Obama, it's cool. All that stuff.
Zach's like
I
looking
don't go
over
either
me.
way. I
That's your own
think
thing.
making fun of presidents and
Just
generals-
wait.
To each their own.
yeah, Zach's
Yeah.
like, when is the feminist rant coming out? I kept it very tame today. Thank you very much.
Oh, I have some Mad magazines that you would die for at the shop.
Oh, man, magazine.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
we don't have any political agenda.
Hilarious.
We bash everybody equally. Promise
right,
you.
right. Well, okay, so that's my end of my rant. What's up next?
Okay, see, you were supposed to come up with the topic
Yes,
that we were talking about.
yes. So, topic is. Okay. Sorry, trying to figure out how to phrase this the right way with the least amount of words. Serial killers. Yes, serial killers. We make them infamous, and they have books and TV shows and movies and the whole horror thing, and you know, things based on them. There has been a resurgence or revitalization of not focusing on the killers and not making them these people that some individuals worship and want to know everything about, but focusing on the victims and what were the victims' lives, what led them to these places, things like that. So the topic is, do you agree with this? Hey, let's not look at the killers and make them these movie stars, so to speak, but let's focus on the victims and
Make them.
make it more about them. I see Jason just wheels turning.
I agree. I think it should be. You know, it's okay because you're going to get more ratings with the killers, but people do want to know what the victims went through in the traumatic stage that they had to go through and the step-by-step process in their mind.
What about the victims' families?
Yeah, good point.
So we already know what happened to the victims. We already saw what they went through. what about the victims' families?
You have to live with this.
Who have to live with, and what if that person is found innocent?
It's like the
Or
Lifetime
insane.
movie shit.
I get it, it's very Lifetime, but
Lifetime movies typically focus
Thinking
on
outside the box.
victims'
Thanks, Zach.
families and
Yeah.
victims and things like that. Damn.
For your Lifetime exclusive.
Yeah, those of you guys at Lifetime, we're not bashing them either. Again, sorry.
You brought it up.
Yeah, I apologize. I don't know. I think mass media has blurred the line between serial killers and with the fiction and nonfiction kind of stuff, because you think of how they do like Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is a made up serial killer, whatever,
He's awesome.
right?
and we all love him.
And then you got Jeffrey
Sorry.
Dahmer, which is real, and he existed. So, you know, you think of what Jeffrey Dahmer did. Now, I don't think too many people glorify Jeffrey Dahmer like they do like Jack the Ripper
Charles
or
Manson.
Charles Manson or the Zodiac,
Yeah.
you know, but they glorify Hannibal Lecter, which was pretty much along the same lines as Jeffrey Dahmer, except for I don't think that he was having sex with dudes and killing the dudes. John Wayne Gacy was.
Yeah.
He was raping little boys and killing them and put them in his crawl space and shit under his house. But they make all these movies, which to me, I ain't gonna lie, Zodiac movies intrigue me because it's one of those times in history where they couldn't really figure out who did it. And now in today's society, we'd already caught that bitch within 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, in the 70s, you couldn't. They didn't have all the technology, and now it's like
DNA test.
right.
Right.
And now all this stuff that they had back then, it's either been sitting too long, got damaged, been lost. You know, so any little DNA or whatever they could find is, you know, it's not measurable according to what they're saying, because otherwise we'd already know who it is by now because they would already ran that shit. But you know, with all the people that say, you know, but when it comes to that versus victims, I could see why they don't emphasize so much on the victims as much as they do the killers, because the victims only had like, there's 100 victims, they all may have had 20 minutes of the killer's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was with these 20 minutes with this victim or 20 minutes with that victim. To make a movie on any one victim, you
Right.
cannot do that, because that'd be like 20-minute movie. And she died.
But if
Now-
there's 100 victims, 20 minutes per 100 victims.
Right.
Right, now if they did the victims of the Zodiac movie, which they tend to do in the Zodiac movies, because they
They
don't really
do.
focus so much on him because they don't have a lot
Yeah, they have
to
no
go
idea.
on
Yes.
him.
Yes.
So there is a lot more backstory on the victims, and the one with Jake, what's his name?
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal, yeah.
That was more the detectives. They focused more on the police
Yeah.
presence, which was good.
So to me, you know, they do to an extent try to give a little bit as much as they can to the backstory of the people or other people that were involved, but not to make it sick or demented. I think that people watch these movies not because they want to be a serial killer. A lot of it's about what the fuck were these people thinking, or just to learn a little bit about the story of
Sure.
Right.
what happened, as opposed to all the news articles and shit that you probably may have read. But maybe some people are watching it to have to live vicariously through,
I know I do. No, I'm just. I joke. I kid. That's bullshit. No.
you know,
He's fine.
Texas,
He's
right?
fine.
I'm good. Yeah, Texas.
Texas, right?
you know, I feel like,
That's
you know,
Texas.
we have to, you know, it's with any movie that we got out there.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
Yes.
So what brought this conversation to topic and why I had been thinking about it is because I know Jason and I really like our horror, and others of us like our horror too. And I do a lot of online research about the victims and the killers themselves, because it is very interesting read to understand where these horror films come from. But in England specifically, they have dedicated a museum on the Whitechapel, in the Whitechapel district, that focuses not on Jack the Ripper, but only on his victims. And they're trying to reclaim that portion of town which is plagued by tourism for Jack the Ripper, who they know very little about. But this museum is taking back, and I think they do give to the families, and they do take care of multiple. I've done some more research. They take care of women's shelters and stuff like that. So they're trying to help women who may have been placed in this sort of circumstance that his victims were, trying to help them get out of those circumstances, which I think is really interesting. But that's why the topic came to me, and that's why I wanted a little discussion. And I think we had a really good one. Saw all sorts of spots about it. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know.
If you have a topic you think we should be discussing for the next one,
I have another topic already.
get on Facebook, shoot us a message, comment down below whatever topics you want us to talk about. I don't care how controversial they are, as long as it falls in the same kind of realm that we are interested in: horror, comics, beer. If you feel like one beer company sucks more than the other, hell, talk to us about it. Hell, we might even have a conversation about it.
Right?
We'll go from there. The last thing I kind of wanted to do real quick, we got about 10 minutes to talk about a couple different things. Some stuff we want to talk about in the future, and some stuff, like today me and Zach watched Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, Homecoming.
And
They just didn't invite me.
I got like a 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning
I
invite.
watched it last night.
You're welcome.
It was kind of one of those last minute things.
It's fine. I don't care.
So anyway, Zach, you give your thoughts on it first, because
I think the Vulture was badass. Keaton is the Vulture. I really liked him because
Wait. Who?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, boo thing.
especially towards the end.
Yes.
Like he was literally starting to look like the Vulture by the end. He was starting to get stressed out. His hair was all jacked up. You could tell he was definitely losing some hair. Yeah, that was really good. They introduced MJ in this one. Spoiler alert. But I don't know how I feel about her in this one so far. So
A few other characters too.
we definitely, there were some new characters in there. You had Gargan, which anybody who knows is the Scorpion. Shocker was also in it. So it'll be interesting where they're gonna go. They're missing one person for the original Sinister Six.
Yeah.
So it's heading in that direction. There's no other direction they can be going in. Definitely with all the characters they introduced. By the third character, you were just like, oh, I know where this is going.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the fact that they this new Spider-Man, he does such a good job being Spider-Man. He's still young. He's still learning, and Tony Stark's still trying to be like that mentor, which is kind of funny because I wasn't expecting as much of Robert Downey Jr., but it was like just the right amount. It wasn't like he was trying to dominate
Right.
the movie with
Yes.
him. And the fact that they're it's more looking to the future of what they're going to do with Spider-Man, and
Especially
there's
with a lot of the other characters about to fall off. Their contracts are about to end. They're going
Mhm.
to wrap stuff up with Infinity War.
yeah.
So they're going to need new characters.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. I wasn't disappointed at all. So that was probably one of the better ones I've seen recently. I still think Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty close, but I think this beat Guardians of the Galaxy 2 by like that much.
Yeah, it had the same problem. It felt like there were some parts that were stretched a little too far. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was on point. The second one, I felt like there were some parts that were stretched just a tad bit too much. This one had the same feel. It was still a great movie, don't get me wrong, but still felt like there were some stretchy parts to it.
Yeah.
The Aunt May parts cracked me up though.
Right.
That was pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah, so they picked a pretty good
Gotta
cast
tie him up.
for this. And I agree with Zach. Michael Keaton. The longer the movie went, the more dark he was getting,
Yes.
the better he was getting.
Yeah, agreed.
So the very end, you're gonna like it. You're definitely gonna like how it turns out, I think. And I don't think we even gave you any kind of spoilers that you wouldn't seen in the trailers. I mean, really, just go watch it.
I mean, as someone who has not seen it yet, I'm excited just because Michael Keaton came into the conversation, and I think he's an amazing bad guy, and he is just an actor that I don't think gets enough credit, because he is one of those people who does every now and again films. But now I'm like, yeah, I have to go see it.
I definitely like him as a bad guy.
Yes.
Like, definitely like him as a bad guy. He makes a great villain.
So real quick, the last couple minutes, comic books that have come out in the last week or coming out in the next week that you feel are a pickup that people need to be getting into.
Okay, so Secret Empire. If you guys haven't got on that, you need to get on it. Captain America, as a villain, he is now part of Hydra. Cosmic Cube changed his past. I don't want to elaborate too much, but number 5 that just dropped a couple weeks ago, damn. Talk about leave you on a cliffhanger. That thing had me white knuckling a comic book. I don't do that. But I'm just like, oh, where's number 6? Where's number 6? This is bullshit.
Nice.
Edge of Venomverse came out. It dropped last week, right?
Yep.
First issue, pretty good. It's about all new Wolverine, about X-23. So it was pretty good read. I think that is something you need to keep up with as well. With some trades that came out, like the Venom trade came out
Finally.
and the Thanos trade came out. What other trades came out?
Yeah, if you're not on that Thanos today, you need to get on Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos is definitely one of the. I mean, that was like the second comic book I bought recently. Like when he opened the shop, and that series has kept me going. And I keep reading it because it's really awesome. You don't expect all the stuff that's going to happen. Real quick, horror films coming out. Not really so many of the ones I want to talk about are going to be the popular mainstream ones. Red Eye by Tristan Clay. It's going to be dropping here soon. The Listing by Mario Cerrito. It'll be dropping soon. If you haven't heard anything about The Drifter, it has recently been put into distribution, so you guys should be looking out for that. Gosh, there's so many more. So
What Comes at Night, which we talked about on the first podcast, that should be coming out here shortly.
That's, I think, this month.
Yeah,
47 meters down.
47 meters down.
And 47 Meters Down came out last month, which
I want to see that.
have not seen it yet. Wanting to see it. In our theater is not carrying it no more.
No, it's
No, I don't
gone.
think so.
So I'll be catching it on DVD as soon as it comes out, Blu-ray.
I heard they're making a new Saw movie.
Yeah, Saw Legacy.
Oh, yes.
It's either gonna be called
Really?
Saw Legacy or it's called Jigsaw. One of the two. I can't remember exactly what it's called.
I feel
But
like that's overplayed.
This should be the one
The
that
final.
ties
That
it
ends
all
it all.
off and ends
final.
it. That dude's dead, been dead, whatever. But you know how it's gonna go. Saw 25 will be out in 25 more years, or 20 years, or whatever, and they'll be like, "Hey, you know,
least
we
they
got an
wait a while,
anniversary."
Right?
And then, you know, the Friday the 13th video game, if you guys have played that, post some like video or something like that to us, because I've been interested in it. I wanted to kind of get a topic about that because I heard it's really, really good. Especially in lieu of the fact that they're not making another Friday the 13th this year like they're supposed to do. It was supposed to release this year, but it didn't come out. Halloween, there is supposed to be another Halloween movie dropping in October. More like John Carpenter. John Carpenter's going to be involved with it, and it's going to be more of a continuation onto the original Halloween franchise,
Oh, okay,
not
okay.
the Rob Zombie Halloween. So that should be really good. Just keep on checking in with us, and if we're talking about stuff and we don't know what the hell we're talking about, fix us, because we just throw shit out our hats. We
Right.
don't do a whole lot of research. We just talk about what we want to talk
I do
about.
tons of research, okay? Thank you very much.
But I do have a whole lot of shit on my blog that I recently stopped writing for. Tom H's blog of horror. There's a shit ton of independent horror film stuff going back years. If you haven't seen it, go read up on some of that stuff, and a lot of them are already out. So you'll be able to kind of catch up on some of the more unique horror films from people you probably never heard of that you want to know.
Right? Okay, so I'm going to take over for a second because, as you can see, we have littered the tables with multiple beers, and we have not talked about any beers or liquors yet in this segment, and we have about like 2 minutes to do so. Okay, so we've got some Purple Haze on the table, which I think everybody at the table has drank, and I think everybody is liking it.
Yes.
Yes.
It was good.
So it's a raspberry lager, so it is a darker beer. I'm the only female on the panel, and I don't really like girly drinks, and this is not a girly drink. It is nice. It's nice dark beer with a little bit of raspberry hint, very nice. And mine got a little warm, and it was still fine. So.
So what we got here?
You're drinking a Land Shark,
Modelo Negro.
and I got a Tecate over here, and Zach finished his Purple Haze. So, and actually, one real quick something or another. It's not a beer, but it is a liquor that I came into contact with this weekend, and it's called Zambu. It's apparently
Zambu.
big at the lake
Yes.
this time of
Good
year.
stuff. Very good stuff.
Apparently, it's really good. I am personally going to stay away from it. Apparently, after you drink it, it makes your mouth numb, and that's the whole thing behind it. Is it makes your mouth numb. And I'm like, oh, so that's something for people who don't want to taste or feel what they're drinking?
Yeah.
So many comments.
I know. But I thought it was interesting. It was shown to me at a bar, and they were like, here, have a shot. I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks. But I just thought that was interesting. We hadn't really talked about any new liquors or beers during this segment, so.
I will say, quick note, Line and Google watermelon shandy is actually wonderful. Had some the other day. Good stuff. Try it.
All right, I think that's pretty much it.
Upcoming shows. We're gonna try to get Jay Bear and Jay Cameron here of Central States Wrestling, probably in the next couple episodes. We do want to do a couple little episodes somewhere outside of the area. Next time we leave the area and go someplace really fun, we're gonna go and do some little 15-minute little show probably. We will do Facebook Live, so check us out. Go to our Facebook page, like us. We do that randomly. It could be at any point in time. Again, by the end of this week, Comic Quarters website will be up and running. If you're following our website or the Comic Quarters website on Facebook or whatever, like us, follow us, whatever, because we'll be able to post that to you, that link to you, so you can check that out.
And share, yes.
Yes, everything we do. If you are already on our Facebook page, share it. We do not have any no issues with you guys sharing our stuff. Trust me, it really does help. And not only that, the next show should be dropping. Episode 3 will probably be shooting around the beginning of August, if not before then. And we got a whole lot more shit to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Again, add your comments, add whatever topics you want to talk about, want us to talk about, and we'll go from there.
So, everybody's plugs. Zach. Common Quarters.
Right. Comic Quarters. Yeah, check me out. Check my sites out. Come over to Salud. See this guy.
Bar and restaurant, bar and grill. Come out, check us
Which
out.
is-
Salsa, Latino American music.
Yeah. Currently being remodeled. Gonna have a deck
Yes.
outside soon. Some
gonna be
food,
awesome.
some food stuff's gonna be coming in here, so that's gonna be another added benefit to coming in and checking it out.
Right, both located in St. Robert, Missouri, right here on the main drag. I am Liz, belly dancing Vahid Nazreen. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me as Strawberry Knockout with the Rolla Rockets roller derby team locally, or on Instagram, Tumblr, etc. One of those other sites that you might want to get Zach onto. And
And I'm Jason. Those of you guys that don't know me, I'm formerly of Tom H's Blog of Horror. Currently, this is my thing. I help Zach out at the store still sometimes, Comic Quarters. Pretty much do different things. Looking at putting together some events in the future. Like I said, Midnight Hollow Fest with Extremicon. Check that out, extremicon.com. You can still get tickets. More people to come, the better. It's going to be a unique experience, especially for this area.
awesome. And of course, this is Horror Heroes and Hops podcast coming to you live from Salute. We will check you guys out in a little bit. Hope y'all have a great week, weekend, etc. Bye.